What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're back out in the garage and we're back out here in the bait laboratory and we've got tackle to make. Today we're going to be making some Ned rigs. I don't think I've put any videos out of me making my Ned rigs. I use the owner hooks with my DoIt Molds and I think it really makes a good Ned rig. I had some people order through my website and I had a tackle shop here locally that put in an order for some of the Ned rigs. So I got a ton to make and I'm going to take you through the process of making some of these. For those of you that make your own tackle, maybe you want to pick up the Ned Rig mold through DoIt Molds or wherever, and maybe you need a little tutorial on how to make them. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel, please give me a subscribe, and if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. And any questions, make sure to put it down in the comment section. Also, there's gonna be a bunch of links in the description of all the equipment that I'm using in my video today, so make sure to go check out all the links down in the description. And I'd love it if you continue on and watch some of my other videos, whether it's the fishing stuff or some of the other tackle making stuff. I'd really appreciate all those extra views. And again, please subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's get into it. Let's make some Ned rigs. Okay, so this is what we are doing today. We got our Ned Rig mold right here. Those are all the different sizes of Ned rigs you can make. These are the hooks that we're going to be using today. These are the Owner 5316 1/0 90-degree hook eye, and we also have the little keepers right here that come in a bag, and we got to make all those Ned rigs right there. All that pile, it's about 124 Ned rigs that we're making today. We also have our Lee lead pot right here. The lead's already all melted down, so let's get into it. Okay, so the first step in the process is always setting all of our components into our molds. So we're going to be making some 1/8 ounce, some 3/16 ounce, and 1/4 ounce Ned rigs. So you just got to lay your hooks in there just like so, and then we got to come over here, grab our keepers, and this stuff's pretty self-explanatory. You just lay everything in as it's designed in the mold. And once it's all in there, we close up the mold, and then we're gonna go over to the lead pot and get that hot lead to go into our mold, and then it cools down really quickly and make some awesome Ned rigs. So something you always wanna do is you wanna make sure that everything's nice and flush with your mold just like that before you go to pour, because if all your components are incorrectly, it'll be nice and flush. So if it's not flush, that means something's not in there right and you need to readjust. So let's go over to our lead pot and get these things made up. This one's the 1/8 ounce, 3/16, and 1/4. So we'll open those up here in a second and check them out. Okay, so we're gonna open up our mold and check out our Ned rigs. Take out the 1/4 over here first. That one looks good. 3/16 looks good. And the 1/8 ounce looks good as well. Let's make up some more. Okay, so we are gonna get going here. And we're gonna do our 1/8 ounce, 3/16 ounce, and 1/4 ounce. Get our keepers. You gotta lay them in here. When you close these molds, you definitely gotta be a little careful because it can throw everything out of whack and out of their spot. So you just gotta be a little gentle. We're gonna go over here, get everything going. 1/8 ounce, 3/16, and 1/4. So as you can see, I haven't been doing every single pour on camera, but this is gonna be the final one that I do on camera because I don't want this video to be too repetitive, but I also wanna give you guys multiple opportunities to kind of see what I'm doing, so that way you can get a good idea of the steps to take and how to do everything. Because if I just do it once, it might be too fast, but I also don't want you to get bored watching all this stuff, so I don't want to do everything over and over and over again. So after this step, we will get into, you know, shaping everything, and that's what I'm going to call it, because you got to take the sprues off and you have to kind of file everything down, and I take it a little bit further than you have to in order to make sure that these things lay flat like they're supposed to. So I just file them down a little bit further, and I'll go into more depth on that topic here in a second. So one little tip I want to show you guys is how I keep my spout from getting clogged up. And what that is right there is a little nail that I put into the spout. And all that does is it keeps it from getting gunked up. And then I have a spout that I don't got to clean out all the time. I know a lot of people have said, it drips or, you know, whatever. And it helps it to keep from dripping, and it keeps that spout nice and open so I don't have incomplete pour issues from there not being enough lead coming out of that spout. Okay, so we're ready for the next step in the process, and I've poured all the 3/16 ounce Ned Rigs that I need, and I still got plenty more 1/8 and 1/4 ounce to do. But for the video, I'm going to start cutting off these sprues just like so. So basically, I just take these shears and you cut them off, and then you just lay them down. And this is where I inspect the eye of the hook to make sure it's not clogged or anything like that. And then what I do after I cut all these sprues off is I'm going to go through with a file, and I'm going to file down all the leftover little sharp spots on the top right here, and file it down, and that's where you're going to see how these things stand up. So I'll finish cutting off all these sprues, and you'll catch up with me when I'm ready to file all this stuff down. Okay, so all of our sprues have been cut off, and then literally I just take this file right here, and I'm just going to file down what's left over from that sprue after cutting it off. And then I go a little bit further, so that way I create a flat spot on the top of this Ned Rig, and I'll show you why in a second. I'm just going to file a couple more of these down so that way I can show you, so you can get a good idea of why I take that extra step to go a little bit further and filing these down, and it just helps it stand up a little bit more. The floating plastic that you end up putting on this Ned Rig to get it to stand up the way we want it to also helps, but if you give it that little flat spot on the top of it, it's just going to help the whole process. It's going to help that floating plastic do its job, and then the Ned Rig is going to support that whole concept of getting it to stand straight up with that flat head on here. Okay, so I've got all the sprues cut off, and I've got everything filed down, and that right there is why you take the extra time to file them down to give them that flat spot, because now they stand up on their own. And when you get that floating plastic for your Ned worm to go on there, it's just going to support the whole process even more, and that buoyancy of the plastic is going to help it do its job even more, so that way, you know, if you get an uneven surface, it's really going to try to stand up just like you want. Okay, so now we're ready for the next step in the process, and that's the powder painting process. What I got right here is my fluid bed, made it myself. Hoses go to a fish tank air pump that pump air into the powder paint to give it a nice fluid, almost like a water consistency. And we're gonna heat up our Ned Rigs, the lead part, with the heat gun right here, so that way the powder paint gets on there, and then we bake them. Okay, so this is a pretty easy process. And basically all we're gonna do is take this Ned Rig and we're gonna hold it over the heat gun like so. We're gonna give it like a 15 to 20 count. I'm not sure what I've been counting so far, but we are gonna just leave this on here for a little bit. And then we go directly into the powder paint. And that fluid bed's gonna help it to get an even amount of paint on there. You just kind of go in there, move it around, shake off the excess. There you have it, nicely painted Ned head, and then we're gonna clean that eye out here shortly. Okay, so we're ready for another one. Put it right over the heat gun. We're gonna give it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Go over to the powder paint, put it in there, get off the extra, and again we'll have to clean out the eye on that one as well. Okay, so the final one we're going to do on camera, over the lead. Into the powder paint, shake off the extra, and there we go, we got one more. Alright, so we have our 24 green pumpkin Ned Rigs ready to go. The last thing that we need to do in the process before we bake them is just get them ready to bake, which is get those eyes nice and clean. So we have to use our eye buster tool to clean those eyes out. So pretty simple process to clean these eyes out. What this guy is right here, this is called an eye buster tool. Pretty cheap little tool, and basically all you do is you stick the eye of your bait, whatever, into this hole right here, just like so, and then you clamp down, clean that eye out, flip it over, and do the other side as well, and there you have it. You got a clean eye. Here on camera I'm going to do it a couple more times. Just put this in there, clean it out, and then sometimes you might have to look and see if there's anything inside and blow it out, and then it's good to go. Do another one just like that, a little bit more. Okay, go to the next one, and that noise you hear when I take this off camera is just me blowing the little paint chips out of the hook eye to clean it all out nice and clean. And I wear a chest mount camera when I do this, so that's why you can't see it. All right, now it's time to bake. I've got a bunch of them in there already, so I'm gonna put the last few in here. There's gonna be 6 more that go in here, and that'll be our total of 24 green pumpkin 3/16 ounce Ned Rigs. These are gonna catch some fish. I just got them in there set up so they don't touch each other. They're gonna go in there for about 20-25 minutes at 350 degrees, and that's gonna help get the paint all nice and baked on there and hard and much more durable. So before the video is over, I wanted to make sure I put all the details of the specific mold that we were using today. Obviously it's going to be in the description with the link and everything to the DoIt Molds website, but I wanted to give you guys a quick little shot of the mold itself. All right, well, there you have it. There's our final product. Our 3/16 ounce green pumpkin Ned Rigs are ready to go. They're ready to catch some fish. They just need that Ned worm on there, and then they are good to go. Well, that's going to do it for today's video. I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make those Ned Rigs. The Ned Rig's a great finesse technique. It's replacing the drop shot on a lot of occasions. I still fish a drop shot a whole lot, but I really like to fish the Ned Rig when I can. It's really cool to make those Ned worms yourself as well and pair it up and catch some fish on it. Another really good Ned Rig bait that you may not know about is the 6 cents Ned Fry. You can cut it down and it works great as a Ned Rig trailer. I'm trying to get some content out here pretty quick to show you guys that those things catch fish when you cut them down and put them on the Ned Rig. The Ned Rig bite hasn't really been there for me lately, and to be all honest, I haven't fished it a whole lot because I've been catching fish on some of my other favorite techniques. But in the future, I will definitely add some video content with those Ned Rigs and the Ned Fry with 6 cents. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please subscribe to my channel, give me a like, and ask me any questions down in the comment, or just say what's up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.